So recently I got to thinking, like, about Christianity and Catholicism and Protestantism and the differences between those things. So for a long time I was a Protestant, like my mother. My mother is a Protestant. She goes to one of those big old mega churches down in where she still lives. It wasn't like that my whole life though. Like more like when I turned I think I turned 12, and a little bit after that we'd started going. Yeah, we'd started going to that Protestant church, that mega church. And at first it was like, okay, this is fun and all, and I like this, and I'm devoted to Christ and all. But eventually it got really cancerous, it got really bad. And I slowly realized that, something's missing here, and eventually when I turned just after I turned 16, so earlier this year in January or February, maybe it was March, I was leaning more towards Catholicism, because I'd slowly begun to realize Protestants don't really have a God, they don't have dogma, they don't have doctrine, they don't have any kind of authority or anything. It's just, the pastor and maybe a couple of other people in a room, maybe they read the Bible for 6 months, memorize a couple verses, and interpret it privately. That's ridiculous to me. Private interpretations of the Bible are so insane to me, because how do you know that you are correct, You don't have any historical basis or anything. You seem to lack the ability to interpret it contextually, like the Catholic Church did. I mean, to be fair, the Catholic Church has been around since Jesus, since 33 AD. So they kind of started everything, that was the beginning of everything. But still, you want to privately interpret the Bible. I feel like that's ridiculous, And I know whenever I decided to become Catholic, I'd gotten my car and started going to church, like the Catholic church, the local parish. It was a lot better, in my opinion. It made a lot more sense. It overall was just something way better. I'm not very religious anymore, but I am slowly moving back towards that kind of thing. And my mother was so angry. She was really, really, really upset that I had decided to convert, I guess. Yeah, I guess it was a conversion, so I decided to convert. She was very upset. She'd bring up really silly points like, praying to Mary and such. I mean, yeah, I pray to Mary, so what, right? I mean, I don't think that's an issue, and a lot of Protestants do think that's an issue, praying to the saints and praying to Mary. And they point out stuff like, where is it in the Bible that says, pray to Mary? Well, where is it in the Bible that says every single piece of Christian doctrine should come from the Bible? On top of that, Protestants reject, I think it was 7 or 8 books that are in the Bible, and they only have 66. And they completely reject a bunch of books that would clarify a lot of Catholic doctrine, like Purgatory. They reject the 1st and 2nd Maccabees epics. And that clarifies a lot about purgatory and such. And it's disappointing, that Protestants seem to be so close-minded and so silly, honestly. I do think that Protestantism is a silly part of Christianity. I mean, they've really fallen apart, things like women priests and depicting God as a woman. That's ridiculous. That's insane to me, at least. And I think it's insane to a lot of people. I think it's borderline blasphemous. And this whole idea of I think this came from really Protestantism, this idea of Jesus or God accepts you for who you are. That's not right, though. That's wrong. Because God doesn't accept you for who you are. He wants you to change, And it's really weird to me whenever people say stuff like that, God wants you the way you are. I mean, yeah, he'll take you in the way you are, but he's not going to leave you the way you are. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want you the way you are right now. Right now you're sinful. Right now you're, you're always going to be sinful. We're people, right? You're evil. All people are pretty evil, right? But it's not irredeemable. It's not like the tulip thing where total depravity, right? Where people can't do any little bit of good. People absolutely can do good things. but people are evil overall. And I kind of lost where I was going with that. But yeah, you know, people aren't entirely evil. And man, fuck, I really lost where I was going. Shit, oh well. But yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much to really point out other than, there we go. I got it. So like Protestant churches like Presbyterianism, namely, it is so diseased, you know. I feel like Protestantism is a growing disease in this country, and it's really not good. You know, the Catholic Church numbers have fallen down, which is very disappointing for me to see, and it's unfortunate, but you know, the gates of hell won't prevail against the real church. And you know, those Protestant churches that want you to know, or want you to think that Jesus fully accepts who you are now. Jesus wants you to change. People are sinful, right? People are very sinful. Jesus doesn't want you to be sinful. He wants to forgive you. He knows you're going to be sinful because, you know, that's how people are. But he wants to forgive you, right? And he wants you to come get his forgiveness, right? And there's another misconception I see a lot from like ex-Catholics and ex-Christians and atheists and such, they'll be like, you know, if God really loved me, why would he send me to hell? Well, the thing is, God doesn't send you to hell. You know what I'm saying? You send yourself to hell. God doesn't send you to hell. You know, you make the choice to separate and keep yourself separate from him. And I really think that a lot of these like atheist and Protestant arguments against Catholicism are not hard to debunk. You know, they're really simple and really easy to understand when you really get to the meat of it. And I really don't think it's that philosophically difficult of a concept to grasp, you know? But still, they have a lot of trouble grasping it, and atheists especially. Actually, I think Protestants and atheists do have like an equal time with like a really hard time grasping basic philosophical concepts, because I do think Protestantism is entirely philosophically empty, and I do think it's unfortunate, you know. And I do think that atheists are also, I think most atheism isn't just philosophically empty. I think it's most atheists are just philosophically inept, and they just can't put pieces together like a normal person could. Because I feel like the average atheist is like less sentient, you know what I'm saying? Which might, I mean, I say the average, you know, that obviously there's exceptions. There's probably a lot of exceptions of like atheists who are plenty sentient. But still, I mean, if a basic philosophical concept that really isn't that hard is like impossible for you to grasp to the point where you actively go against it and you start making shit up against that concept, I think it's called straw manning, where you make up a caricature of a concept and attack that caricature rather than the actual concept itself. That might be something different, but I'm pretty sure it's called straw manning. And I think that's what a lot of them do. You know, they make up a caricature of a concept and attack that caricature without really looking into the concept itself, taking wild guesses at what that concept is and putting it like zozobra. You know, they just pin it up there with the papers before it burns. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they do with zozobra. I've never been to one of those festivals. I know, I lived in New Mexico for all of my life. I've only been out here for like a couple months, but I've lived in Mexico most of my life, and I've never been to go see like the burning of zozobra. Whatever. I think that's what happens, at least. I have no fucking clue. But you know, that's what it's like. It's really silly to me. And you know what, I would like to have some kind of career in debate, because I feel like I could really excel at it. You know, I feel like I could really excel in political debates and in philosophical debates and discussions. You know, I don't know. I think I'd really like that, but I don't see that really happening. It's a hard career to get into, and I think it's probably never going to happen. But it is what it is, right? Anyways, back on topic, right? Yeah, Protestantism just seems to be godless. It's a godless cult of vague Christianity, a lot like Mormonism. Mormonism absolutely is a cult, and Protestantism is as well. It's just a more recognized cult, so they aren't going to sit there and say it's a cult. Like, you know, I don't think I've really heard anyone call all of Protestantism a cult, but here I am saying it's a cult, because it absolutely is. It's a ridiculous bunch of ideas just strung together, vaguely correct. You know, there's a lot of missing pieces in Protestantism, and it's disappointing to see, you know? And, you know, I really don't like any of the basic doctrines that a lot of megachurches have, prosperity gospel stuff, like the whole, like, limited forgiveness stuff. I don't know that's really a megachurch sentiment. I know that's a, what's it called? I don't remember exactly what it's called, what that whole idea is called with the tulip thing. But I know that's like a sentiment within like tulip adhering churches, or like Calvinism, like 4-point Calvinism or 5-point or whatever the fuck. Yeah, Calvinism is what it's called, and it's really amusing to me, and it's really disappointing to see people fall for that kind of thing, you know? Because it's just not biblically right, you know? And John Calvin, what a clown, what a joke of a man, you know? To think that God would only forgive you so much, that's insane to me, right? And to think that humans can do absolutely no good, that's also insane. I mean, that's wrong. You know, we see plenty of humans do good things in the Bible, and we see plenty of humans do good things in real life. I think it's just insane. Like, I think John Calvin's a clown, a joke of a man, philosophically inept, a complete flathead. And I think Martin Luther is even worse. You know, I absolutely think that Martin Luther is in hell. I think he deserves to be there. Because how dare he, you know? How dare he go against God's established church and make up his own weird cult? I think that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know that I really got much explanation or complaining done here. I really don't think I went into that great of detail, but yeah. Which is weird, because I think people are going to watch this video and be like, you know, what the hell is he talking about? You know, you need to go into more detail. You're just giving like vague spitting, you know? I don't want that to be the case, and I really hope it's not, but I don't know. I don't really have much else to get into. I don't know. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, at least. I don't know that many people are going to be watching this, but I hope the few that are at least understand what I'm getting at. So, I mean, that's all I got.